Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of The Vulnerable. And today, me and Kimberly are joined by Nicholas. And Nicholas has appeared on the podcast a fair few times. I've lost count, I think. But the first time this year. So Nicholas is going to be talking about his autism, how vulnerable links into it, because it does. And yeah, it's gonna be a really cool conversation. And this is actually gonna be the penultimate episode of the series, before the series is finished. So it's gonna be it's really fun. So Nicholas, I'm gonna start with you. If you actually, I'm gonna start with Kimberly. I'll start with Kimberly, and then Nicholas, you can introduce yourself. So Kimberly, would you mind introducing yourself again?
Hello, everyone. My name's Kimberly. I'm at strong_self-love, and I'm here joining Mason and Nicholas, and I'm super excited to talk to you, Nicholas.
Awesome. And Nicholas, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, my name is Nicholas Voitas. I am a photographic artist based in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and I look at autism as a superpower.
That's a very good way to look at it, I think. But this series, I think we've only done, Kimberly, I think is it one other autism episode that we did?
I believe so, but I know autism is on a spectrum and it's different on everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. We did one a few weeks ago, and it was we didn't actually intend to speak about it. It's kind of a surprise.
Mm.
It kind of linked in with chronic illness and autism. So, to anyone who doesn't remember you, Nicholas, from last year or whenever the first time you was on the podcast, would you mind just saying a little bit about when you was diagnosed with autism, and maybe explain a little bit about what autism is to you as well?
Absolutely. As I said, I am a photographic artist and I specialize in landscape photography. And I believe my autism helps me to become a better artist as it helps me to transfer what I feel deep from within into my work.
Okay. Okay. So with your art, because so you're obviously still doing that.
Yes,
So is there when you're with your autism? So are you saying that your autism really helps you when you're doing your different artworks?
I believe it does because it helps me to feel things on a much deeper level than a neurotypical person would. And it, as I said, it helps me truly to put what I feel deep from within into my work. And it is my aim with my artwork to help people, to give people hope and voice for those who feel they have none, and to encourage persistence through hardship and the promise of a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love that. Mason, I know you and Nicholas have talked, but this is the first time I'm talking to him. How old were you when you got diagnosed?
Actually, it was in my later years. I would probably say I would probably say 28, around there. And it's interesting because my family and I, we had a hunch when I was a child that I may have been autistic, but we didn't know for sure until recently. But the most interesting part I find is that as I've gotten older and as my autism has progressed, I've found that my artwork has become stronger and more vibrant, and it's just gotten better over time as my autism has kicked in. And it I like I said, it's just it feels amazing to be able to try and help people with your art and promise them that tomorrow will be a better day and everything will get better.
That's amazing. You said that you and your family had thought that maybe you were autistic as a child. Can you give us some of those like side effects that you kind of faced?
Absolutely. Definitely there was repetition. There was liking certain things, liking certain things and not wanting to try new things, wanting to stay within a comfort zone. And even still, people have told me, they said, Nick, you're very much a creature of habit. And I said, yes, it is true. And yes, I absolutely I enjoy what I enjoy. And I believe it's our tastes, it's our preferences that truly make us unique.
That's awesome. Well, those are all the questions I kind of had, Mason. Sorry, I was just curious.
Yeah, I'll ask away. So Nicholas, I'll get my words out. Um, so you said was it 28 when you was diagnosed?
I believe it was, yes. It was quite recently.
And when was that? Like, how long ago
I
was that?
would I would probably say within, I'm 35 now, so I would say it would have been within the last, very, very near past. And it wasn't until we moved to Ontario and I was seeing this this amazing doctor, and by far he was the very best psychologist I ever had. He did some testing, and it was then that he told us absolutely that I had moderate Asperger's. And as I said, I I found that as I've gotten older and as my age has progressed and as my autism has progressed, I've found my artwork is getting more powerful. It's getting more potent. It's getting more vibrant. And the feelings that I'm putting into the artwork, it's much stronger. And lately, my artwork has been, for many years I did not only landscapes mirroring my moods, but as well as documenting my struggles with anxiety and it being an everyday battle, as well as, but now I'm choosing a different path. I'm choosing to be happy. I have said to myself, I've been trapped for many years in the darkest of places. And it's time. It is time. I told myself, I can't put conditions on my happiness anymore. I can't wait for certain things to happen in order for me to be happy. I can't wait to have a girlfriend in order to be happy. No, happiness is not a privilege, but a right. And it's a choice. And I've told myself that it's time. I'm finally feeling I found the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And I've told myself, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, you're very good with your words, Nicholas.
Thank you. It comes from the heart.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's very good that the way you see it, the way you embrace your autism and you don't let it bring you down, and um, I think it's really good.
Thank
Um,
you.
so in the vulnerable side of autism, how would you think that autism could make you vulnerable? Do you think?
Well, to be honest, the times I feel the most vulnerable are when I'm on dates or first getting to know someone. But I've learned something over the past many years, that my mind isn't wired to recognize social cues, but for a very different type of visual language, and that is my photographic artwork. Anytime I trip that shutter, anytime and every time I push that button, I have to let my guard down. I have to be at my most vulnerable, because I not only have to see what I'm photographing, but I have to feel it. And I feel it is when we let our guards down, when we become the most vulnerable, that's when our gifts, our talents, our abilities truly shine. And so if you had the heart to step out of the shadows and show this world your true identity and the gifts you possess, knowing there is a 50-50 chance that they would either like or not like what you've done and what you do, then congratulations. You have courage. You have bravery. You are strong. And also, when you think about it, yes, let us take down those guards. Let us do that. Take down those guards. Take down those walls. Become the most vulnerable. Show this world your true identity. Show them the gifts you possess. Why? Because you're too good not to. And also, something very much worth noting is the amount of love that is in the hearts of the autistic. Our hearts are overflowing with love, and we wish to share this positive emotion with those we care about. And many people may say that we're too much, but the truth is, this is something the world hasn't grasped yet. This is something the world isn't used to yet. Let me ask you this. Would this world have if it had half as much love as in the hearts of the autistic, would it not be such a better place to live? I remember in a previous panel discussion that I said, why be average when you can be so much more? Let me extend that statement. Let me say this. Why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? So yes, let us go out into this world. Let us use these gifts for the greater good in this world, and use these gifts to make this world a much better place. Let us do that. Let us use these gifts, and let us become everyday.
I love that. Now, you mentioned that, you were vulnerable when you were dating. Are you currently dating someone, or you're in the dating phase?
I'm in the dating phase. It's been very tricky. Uh, it's odd because I've honestly found throughout high school, I had quite a few girls asking to go out with me, but I was confident, and at the same time I was quite shy back then, but I had many girls asking me. But it's odd, since I moved away from Nova Scotia and moved to Ontario, I found that's not quite the case anymore. And It's people keep telling me, they say, it's because they don't know you. It's because they don't they don't know you the way the people in Nova Scotia did. And as I said, I'm still dating as we speak. The longest ever since moving back to Ontario, the longest relationship I've had is about 3 months. In Nova Scotia, I had a 4-year relationship. And as I said, I'm currently dating. I'm not seeing anyone at the moment, but I'm doing my very best. I'm doing my very best to show what I can offer. And I do my very best to show my true identity.
Well, congrats. I wish you the best on that journey.
Thank
Do
you
you
very much.
mind Yes. Do you mind sharing some tips that have helped you for those that are younger, maybe dealing with autism, kind of navigating that phase? What's something that has helped you like to be comfortable putting yourself out there?
Absolutely, yes. Well, some of the things that have made me feel comfortable are a few things. Embracing your dreams, such as with my photographic artwork. From the time I was a child, I knew I wanted to be an artist, but it wasn't until many years ago, since 2005, that I realized that I wanted to be a photographic artist. So I encourage those who are struggling and who are having a hard time in life to embrace those dreams, to give those dreams everything you have, to follow them, and to go for your goals, to go for your goals and to aim for greatness, as well as, and this is something too that I'm still learning, is, as I've said, showing your true identity. Not putting on a show, not trying too hard, but showing your true identity, showing who you really are, and letting people like you for who you are. And as I've noticed in the past, and this happens quite a lot from time to time, in terms of first impressions, people, they at first don't seem to like me, but I've found the more exposure they have to me, the more, most times, they really like me. They begin to realize that, yes, I'm a good person, and yes, I mean well. And yes, that once people get to know me, then they understand me and they accept me. So sometimes it's a matter of time. It's a matter of having that exposure to people and letting them discover who you are.
That's really that is really good. I think that's some really good advice there.
Yes, very. Thank you for so much for sharing.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's very important to kind of look the way you see things because not everyone does, and it's hard. It's hard. So I think sometimes, isn't it, to be very positive all the time because sometimes I think you're not going to be positive in certain scenarios. Because I imagine Nicholas when trying to find different dating and you can't find that and it must be quite hard or you might be quite sad. Uh,
Yes,
so it's not all happy. There is sad there's too.
there is an element of sadness there as well, because there's that element of frustration that when, after being only given a certain amount of dates and not getting a fair chance at trying to show people who I really am. And it's difficult because it's like my doctor once told me. He said, "These girls aren't giving you a fair chance." And I said, "No." I said, "It's hard. I said it at the a lot of times at the most I get 2 dates, and then they decide that I'm just not what they want." And it there is an element of sadness. Absolutely. There are dark times, there are elements of loneliness, and there are times when I see couples and I wonder, why can't I have that? And there are times I just wonder what's going on. Why What's going on? What did I have back then that seems to be missing now? And it's a question I still have unanswered, but I'm doing the very best that I can in showing who I really am.
That's a great attitude. I know from my experience, when I used to feel that way, I'm like, why aren't they giving me a chance? Now I shifted my mindset to think, well, at least they're not wasting my time. So they're getting out of the way so that, I can find someone who values me. So I think that you should change your mindset and not even think it's not an issue on your side, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about what like you see people and couples. Don't worry about them because you don't know them. They don't know you, and you just got to focus on yourself. I think. Um,
Absolutely.
it may take you longer. That's fine. It takes everyone their own speed. It's like there's no rush for these kinds. They normally just kind of happen. I think when you probably least expect it.
I
Um,
love
Absolutely.
I love that you said that, Mason, because great things take time.
yeah. And like for your autism, Nicholas, it really took you time to maybe understand it at first and understand what you can deal with and what you can't deal with. And that's not dating, that's just you. And when you do find someone that I say, tell them straight off I tell them about your autism. Although it could be hard, but if they understand you and you tell them all your problems, well most of it anyway, you don't want to tell them all your business straight away, do you? But you want maybe a few things, and if they get you or they want to see you again, you'll know from the first time. But it's hard. It is hard meeting people in general. 'Isn't it? Because you want to have friends, and then maybe that could go further, maybe. But I wouldn't worry about watching people saying they're in couples, and because you don't know, that might be their first date. You don't know.
That's a good point. And one thing I've been trying to keep a positive attitude lately, and I've been saying to myself, look and enjoy what life has given you in the present time. Enjoy what you have, not what you don't have at the moment. Enjoy what this present moment is giving you.
Yeah, yeah. That's completely it. That's completely it. And there's so everyone has a different story. Like for you, it may be I'm really enjoying my painting at the moment. I'm really doing some good work on it. Kimberly's might be I don't know, you might be in a better place than you was maybe last year, Kimberly, with your chronic illnesses.
Oh, yes, definitely. Last year we had to put this on pause because I was in the hospital getting my toes amputated. And this year I'm traveling, I'm doing the series with you guys. I mean, everything can change in a matter of months.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fun, and yeah. So just think about how good it is now, because we don't know. Next week it might be really bad. Something might happen. Um, and yeah, so I'd just say focus on now. Don't worry about anyone else. Worry about yourself. And that's not selfish. That's just looking after yourself first. And because if you spend all the time worrying about someone else, Well, you can worry about people, maybe your friends and family, but a stranger down the street, you don't want to worry about them. Um, but yeah, so I don't think that's the most important thing, really. Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah. Um, so with um with your autism, Nicholas, um, do you because you are quite open about it, aren't you?
Absolutely,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
quite open about it. Do you talk about it on a lot, like out of doing these podcasts and panels and stuff? Do you like to talk about it in your spare time? Is that like a hobby of yours that you like to do?
Yes, I do. It's interesting because when some of these what I say, it will come into my mind, such as writings about autism, writings about anxiety, writings about life in general, and about my photographic artwork. And it will come into my mind at the times I least expect it. And I will feel the need to write it down right away. And there's just this feeling, this need to go and write down in text or in words what I'm thinking. There's just that feeling of that need, that want to put what I feel down in written form.
Oh, that's that's amazing. Um, so talk us through your artwork, Nicholas, because I know we spoke but before, but Kimberly hasn't heard it, and maybe some new people who follow the podcast and have heard it. So talk me through, because in my opinion, for my autism, I probably won't have the patience to do art, like you. So explain. So with the photo, so do you take a picture of it and then you copy it? Is that how it works? Talk us through how it works.
Absolutely, no problem. So, what I usually do is, as I said, it's every piece is based on a feeling. And I'm very lucky to have places like Constance Bay in Ontario, a place I feel such a deep connection to, and places that I feel mirror my moods. And when I'm here, I when I'm behind the lens of my camera, I feel like I can be myself, no problem. There's no judgment. I can be myself, and absolutely, I can put what I feel into my work, and it'll reflect from the piece whether I was feeling something positive, whether I was feeling something negative. Am I enjoying the times I'm having at the moment? Am I going through rough times? The piece will reflect that, and as I said, I know I've always known I wanted to help people, but I wasn't sure how. And I think through my artwork, it's a way I can help people, those who were struggling, like those who are struggling, like I have been, and I was, and just promising them that things are going to get better. You just have to keep on going, never give up, keep on going, follow your dreams, and most of all, just persistence through hardship, practicing persistence through hardship. And as I said, my aim is to give voice and hope to those who have none, as well as, for example, with my works about anxiety, it for the longest time it was documenting and figuring out what was going through my mind as I was feeling these emotions and having these daily struggles with anxiety, what was happening. And eventually I steered that body of work in a more positive direction. and showing self-compassion and showing that, for example, there was this one powerful piece where I had myself looking into the mirror, and the person outside the mirror, me, I was on the floor, sort of with my head down, having a hard time, and my reflection in the mirror was reaching out with my hand down to the person who was struggling and saying, "You've fallen down. Let me help you up." And I've steered that body of work in a more positive direction. And now, as as I've said, I am now more so focusing on the landscapes and about feeling better, feeling happier, breaking out of that place of darkness that I had been trapped in for so many years, and realizing that happiness is not a privilege. It is a right, it is a choice, and everyone has the right to feel happy.
I couldn't agree more, Nicholas. I couldn't agree more. And it's really good that you enjoy what you do. Still, after all these years, you still really enjoy it, and that's really good. It's really good that everyone finds something they enjoy. If it's artwork, if it's, I don't know, something else, um, it's always really important. And then just linking to all your list of hobbies that you have, I think.
Absolutely.
I think. But before we go, because we've spoken about a lot, and I don't want us to keep talking about the same things over and over again. Otherwise, we'll be here all day, I think. But Nicholas, I know you said some advice earlier, but is there any further advice or any further words that you would like to say?
Absolutely. There's one thing I'd like to mention, that to keep in mind, that as humans, we are imperfect. It is part of the notion of being human. And I have this saying that I may not be perfect, but I'm worth it. We as humans, it's our diversities, it's our cultures, it's our differences that make this world the interesting place that it is. And we as humans, we are imperfect, but are we worth it? Absolutely. So when you're having a dark day, when you're having a hard time, when dark times seem to be here to stay, well, think about that. I'm not perfect, but I'm worth it.
I completely agree there. Um, I think that's some really good advice there. Um, Nicholas, Kimberly, is there any last things that you'd like to say?
I just want to invite everyone to go to my Instagram at strong_self-love, where I talk about self-love and kind of bouncing off you, Nick. We need to collaborate. I'll message you because
Absolutely.
that's, yeah, because that's always what I like to talk about, self-love and appreciating the bad times.
Yeah, you're gonna keep busy now. Nicholas, you're gonna go on everywhere. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, to anyone listening, watching today, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Next time will be the last one. It's gonna be the finale. So we've got a few people come together, which is gonna be pretty cool. It might be a more longer episode than we normally have as well. So it's gonna be really cool. Well, when that happens, but yeah, it's really cool to have you back on, Nicholas, and the first time in the Vulnerable series, um, which is a year in the making, or I think it's 2 years in the making actually, which is bizarre because it's the first two episodes. The first episode, as this is getting recorded, is going out tomorrow. The first episode is actually going out tomorrow, and that was recorded beginning of last year, I think, Kimberly, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. We debated. We thought, should we record it again, but we never did because we had loads of others to record. And then the one after that, was recorded was recorded around the same time, and I think the guest, I messaged him the other day, and I said your episode's coming out. You know, like, you remember the one we did? He probably
Oh
forgot.
my gosh.
He probably forgot, but I think he potentially might be coming back for the finale, which kind of makes up for it. But yeah, it's really cool. So Nicholas, thank you for coming on again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, pleasure meeting you.
It's a very good
Yes.
episode, and yeah, to anyone listening and watching, we hope you have a nice rest of your week. I was going to say weekend, but by the time this is released, it will not be the weekend anymore. But yes, thank you to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good summer, and we'll see you in the finale.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Absolutely.